Dead Space by Callie Wallace. This book, I was really looking forward to it because Callie Wallace wrote one of my favorite books recently in 2019 called Salvation Day. Salvation Day is, I have a review of it on my channel if you're interested, but it's like a taut, tight horror thriller set in space. That was really good. So when I found out she was writing a new book, sci-fi, I was like, I'm down, I'm totally down. So this book is a little bit different though. We're following Hester Marley. She is a cyborg, not because she wanted to, but because she was in a terrible accident on a spaceship. So she shouldn't have lived, but she did, and she got a prosthetic upgrade for her arm, leg, half her body's basically cybernetic. However, she owes a company money because of this. So she's basically a security guard for a large mining corporation, and she basically is tasked with going around and smacking people around, and whenever people misbehave or get drunk or do terrible things, she's there to clean up the mess. It's not a great job, but she owes so much money for her cybernetic parts and her life, so she sort of has to. She's also a expert in AI. She developed one that was destroyed, unfortunately. So she gets contacted by an old friend named David, and he has this weird conversation in a message. He seems worried. So she decides to go visit him, and he ends up not being there, and he's gone. So she's trying to figure out what's going on. Why is David not there anymore? He just sent her a message, and she's has to explore this asteroid that's being mined by the company, and she's got her people, like her ops team or whatever. She's got a Martian guy named Adisa, and he's got his own history, and then there's Ryu, a non-binary character, and they're trying to butt heads with whoever, the foreman of the mining asteroid. So this book is a lot different from Salvation Day. Salvation Day had two perspectives, and it was more of a horror thriller, so it did have engaging characters, but it also threw you into this really propulsive, entertaining, fast-paced thriller with horror elements. This one doesn't have the horror elements. It's more of a sci-fi noir, a little bit violent, and so much information. The first 50 pages just throws all this crap at you. It's a little overwhelming because, you're just sitting there, you're trying to get into it. There's characters, they have their backstories, but then they're introducing all these elements. Like there used to be an interplanetary war with the Martians, and then, AIs exist, and, this stuff happens, and then this guy's there, and then he's gone though, and then now they're exploring this, and then there's like company dealings, and there's like these big families, and there's just a lot to throw at you. I felt like the info dumping got a little bit tiresome for the first 100 or so pages. But once you get past that sort of initial thing and you start bringing in the suspects and the shady people, it got really interesting. And it threw some twists in there at the end. And the last third of this book is all action. So I felt that the book was a little rushed though. This whole book feels underbaked because there's just so many science fiction elements that are introduced, dumped on you, and then not really necessary or fully utilized. Really, you don't sit there and go, aha, that's why they introduced that. They just sort of throw it at you. And then see what sticks. So there's all this stuff happening within the first half, and then they kind of drop everything and be like, okay, we're just going to go into thriller mode now and have all this action and stuff happening. And I guess it could use more, suspense or mystery elements, or it could have been a little bit more finessed is what I mean. It's definitely a different beast from Salvation Day completely, because that one was really entertaining, but it was also scary. And it had a lot of stuff going on for it too, but it didn't feel like it was trying to stuff everything down your throat. So Dead Space, I'll give it a 3 out of 5. It's still an interesting read if you can get past the first, clunky half. But overall, it's not awful. So 3 out of 5.